Welcome back to our channel where we explore the hidden treasures in your pocket change and the shocking truths behind rare and valuable coins. Today we're diving deep into the mystery, allure, and incredible value of a tiny coin with a gigantic price tag, the 1994 Roosevelt Dime that's allegedly worth as much as $3 million due to its baffling errors, minting anomalies, and collector fascination that borders on obsession. So sit tight and prepare to uncover why this unassuming 10-cent piece, minted in Philadelphia, has become one of the most talked about modern rarities in U.S. coinage history, drawing the attention of seasoned collectors, error specialists, and numismatic historians alike. Because while the face value may say 10 cents, what lies beneath is a tangled web of production mishaps, rare characteristics, improbable odds, and a perfect storm of factors that elevate this dime from common pocket change to numismatic legend as we peel back the layers on what makes this coin so phenomenally valuable. Starting with the basics, the Roosevelt dime itself was introduced in 1946 to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had led the country through the Great Depression and World War II, and who had also been instrumental in founding the March of Dimes to combat polio. So the coin already has historical significance embedded in its origin. And by 1994, it had seen several design refinements and technological shifts in minting, but the Philadelphia Mint that year was pumping out millions of dimes as usual, and it's within that massive production run that one coin, or perhaps a minuscule few, slipped through the cracks with features so unusual, so outside the realm of what was acceptable minting practice, that collectors have been willing to pay astronomical amounts to own one. And the story gets even more mysterious because the existence of such a coin isn't officially documented by the U.S. Mint, and no major public auction has recorded a verified $3 million sale, yet rumors and private dealings suggest that at least one specimen has traded hands for a sum that could rival high-end luxury cars or even some houses. But what could possibly cause a modern coin like this to reach such a towering value? And how do we separate fact from speculation, hype from hard evidence, and mystery from reality, as we examine the key factors that could explain why the 1994 dime is worth millions in certain circles? And at the heart of this discussion is error collecting, one of the most passionate and detail-obsessed niches in all of numismatics, where misstruck coins, off-metal pieces, double dies, missing elements, overstrikes, and wrong planchets command fierce attention and competitive bidding, and the 1994 dime is believed to fall into this elite club due to a combination of minting mistakes that are extraordinarily rare to occur together, let alone in a coin that managed to escape into circulation. And while not every 1994 dime is valuable, most are entirely ordinary. It's the discovery of one or more dimes with dramatic errors that lights up the collector world like a beacon. And chief among these rumored or reported errors is the possibility that the coin was struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination, such as a penny, nickel, or even a foreign coin intended for a country with which the U.S. Mint had a contract at the time. Because it's not uncommon historically for blank planchets of incorrect size, weight, or metal composition to get mixed into the wrong hoppers during production, and if a dime was struck on a copper penny blank instead of a clad dime planchet, the result would be a visually shocking anomaly with completely different coloring, weight, and thickness, something that would immediately stand out to a sharp-eyed collector or even a curious member of the public, and that alone could make a coin worth thousands or tens of thousands. But it doesn't yet explain a $3 million price tag, so let's go deeper, because in addition to being possibly struck on the wrong planchet, this mysterious dime is believed by some to exhibit a full brockage strike, which is an error that occurs when a previously struck coin becomes stuck in the dies and then imprints a mirror image of itself onto the next blank, resulting in one side showing the intended design while the other is a ghostly negative or inkest image. And full brockage errors are extremely rare, especially when they occur on dimes, and particularly when they pass through quality control without being caught and destroyed. And to complicate matters even further, there have been murmurs that this coin may also display strong double die features, meaning that the coin's design was imprinted twice with a noticeable shift, creating dramatic doubling in areas like the date, the word liberty, or Roosevelt's profile, And while minor doubling can be relatively common and often dismissed as mechanical doubling, true doubled die coins are highly sought after, especially when they're visually obvious without magnification and occur on both sides of the coin. So imagine a dime struck on a copper planchet with a full brockage on one side and double die features on the other, possibly accompanied by misalignment, off-center strike, or partial collar strike that leaves the coin with unusual edges or incomplete rims. All of these things add up to a piece so full of minting anomalies that it becomes one of a kind, and in numismatics, rarity is king, but uniqueness is divine, and collectors will pay nearly anything to be the sole owner of a coin that no one else on earth possesses, especially if it's a modern US coin with errors that should never have escaped the mint's strict quality assurance protocols. And what further fuels the value and mystique of the 1994 P dime is the rumor mill itself. Because while only a handful of confirmed sightings or verified private transactions exist, the lack of public documentation only adds to its legendary status, making it akin to buried treasure or a mythical artifact that few have seen but many dream of discovering. And the hype is not entirely baseless because history shows that the mint has, on rare occasions, allowed error coins to slip through undetected. Consider the famous 1943 bronze Lincoln cent, the 1955 doubled die cent, or the 2000 Sacagawea $/Washington quarter mule, all of which were once thought to be impossible but turned out to be real and immensely valuable. And if such astonishing errors can occur, then it's not so far-fetched to believe that a 1994 dime with a rare combination of production mishaps could have made its way out into the wild and into a collector's vault. And further complicating things is the speculative nature of high-end collectibles where private sales, silent bidding wars, and off-the-books transactions are commonplace. Especially when the item in question is controversial or lacks official recognition, meaning that even if a $3 million sale has occurred, it's entirely possible that it happened behind closed doors between two high-level collectors or investment buyers who prefer anonymity. And that leaves us with a tantalizing blend of fact, folklore, and financial incentive that only increases the public's interest in every 1994 P dime they come across, wondering if they might be the lucky one holding a multi-million-dollar mistake. And some people have even submitted ordinary dimes to third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC hoping for a miracle, but only a true expert in error coins can confirm the authenticity and significance of the multiple anomalies needed to justify such a value. And these experts look at strike quality, die markers, metal composition, planchet characteristics, and even microscopic features that could indicate mint origin or production sequence. And in rare cases where all the stars align, a wrong planchet, major brockage, severe doubling, off-center strike, and full mint luster, it's not inconceivable that such a coin could be valued in the seven-figure range by a collector looking to own a masterpiece of minting mayhem. Because when you factor in supply and demand, with a supply of one or two and a demand that includes high-net-worth individuals, museums, and elite numismatic institutions, the sky really is the limit for how high the price can go. And let's not forget that coins are not just metal, they are history, art, industry, and economics all rolled into a tangible object that can be held, admired, and passed down through generations. And when one such object defies every expectation of its creation process, it becomes more than a coin, it becomes a legend, a symbol, a story waiting to be told. And that is the essence of why the 1994 P dime might be worth $3 million or more, not just because of its errors, but because of the mystery that surrounds it, the uniqueness it represents, and the emotions it stirs in those who chase the thrill of numismatic discovery. And whether you believe the stories or not, one thing is clear: every coin has a tale to tell, and some are worth a fortune just to hear it. So check your change, inspect your piggy bank, and keep your eyes open, because the next incredible treasure might be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to recognize its worth. And as always, stay curious, stay informed, and keep searching. Because the world of coins is full of surprises, and your next discovery might just change your life. Welcome back once again to the channel where hidden treasures turn into headline stories and everyday coins could unlock life-changing fortunes. because today we're continuing our deep dive into jaw-dropping modern rarities by focusing on yet another unexpected superstar of the numismatic world. The 1997 Roosevelt Dime that has stunned collectors and market watchers alike, with reported valuations reaching as high as $2 million. And if that sounds unbelievable for a coin with a face value of 10 cents, prepare to be amazed, because the story of the 1997 dime involves a set of circumstances so unlikely, so bizarre, and so rare that only a handful of people may ever lay eyes on one, and even fewer will ever own it. And as we explore what makes this coin so astronomically valuable, we'll take you through the details, the minting process errors, the anomalies, and the theories that swirl around this mysterious and coveted piece of American currency. So grab your magnifying glass, steady your nerves, and let's get into why this dime might be worth more than a Ferrari or a luxury mansion, because at first glance the 1997 Roosevelt Dime seems like any other, one of over a billion struck that year at the Philadelphia Mint, with a clad composition of copper and nickel, weighing 2.27 grams, measuring 17.91 millimeters in diameter, bearing the familiar left-facing profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse and the torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse. But somewhere in that massive production run, an error, or possibly a one-of-a-kind mechanical failure, created a coin that doesn't conform to standard mint specifications in any way, and this anomaly is believed to include a remarkable misstrike, either involving a mule error, a wrong planchet, or potentially both. With the most widely accepted theory being that a Roosevelt dime obverse was somehow struck with the reverse die of a different denomination, possibly a cent or even a foreign coin, creating what is known in numismatics as a mule, a term used to describe a coin struck with obverse and reverse dies that were never intended to be paired together. And while mule errors are vanishingly rare in U.S. coinage, they have occurred, and when verified they generate tremendous interest, media buzz, and bidding wars, especially when they're found on widely circulated coins like dimes, which people often overlook, making it even more shocking when a mule is discovered years later, hiding in plain sight in a collection, a coin roll, or a forgotten jar of change. And in the case of the 1997 dime, the most intriguing reports suggest it was struck with the reverse of a foreign coin that was being produced at the Philadelphia Mint under contract, as the U.S. Mint occasionally strikes coinage for other nations. And this opens the door to a scenario where dies from two completely different coin programs were mistakenly installed in the press and used to strike coins, and imagine the confusion and excitement of discovering a coin that looks like a Roosevelt dime on one side and a completely different design, potentially even in a different language or script, on the other. And now add to that the possibility that the coin was also struck off-center or on a planchet that wasn't meant for dimes at all. Perhaps a copper blank from penny production or a silver-colored blank from a test strike or foreign denomination, resulting in a weight, appearance, and composition that all deviate from standard specifications. And when you consider how strict the mint's production standards are and how many layers of inspection, quality control, and automated handling every coin goes through before it's bagged, boxed, and shipped to the Federal Reserve System, the odds of such a mule escaping are astronomically small, which is exactly why collectors go crazy when one appears. Because owning such a coin is like holding a piece of history that shouldn't even exist, a fingerprint of human error in a mechanized system, a glitch in the matrix of American minting. And when you combine that level of rarity with the demand from elite collectors who chase these coins not just for their beauty but for the story they tell, the price starts to make more sense, especially when you consider how competitive the upper echelons of numismatics have become, with rare U.S. coins regularly breaking seven-figure sales in private auctions and public showrooms. And part of the value comes from the coin's ability to ignite imagination and inspire obsession. Just the possibility that a dime could defy logic and display features that span two worlds, like a chimera of currency, makes it one of the most desirable pieces in existence. And the legend of the 1997 dime is only intensified by its scarcity. Because unlike most rare coins which have dozens or hundreds of known examples, this coin appears to exist in a quantity of one, possibly two at most, with all sightings being documented under tight-lipped conditions and never widely publicized, which again raises its mythic profile in the coin world, making it the stuff of lore, the coin that collectors whisper about at trade shows and online forums. And while the exact details may remain shrouded, the fundamentals are strong. This is a coin that combines a perfect storm of error types. From mule dies and wrong planchet to possible off-center strikes and edge abnormalities, each of which would be valuable on its own, but together they form a kind of holy grail, a convergence of flaws so unlikely that it borders on the miraculous. And the coin's condition also plays a huge role, because reports suggest that the known specimen, or specimens, are in mint state condition, showing full details, original luster, and little to no signs of wear, which is almost impossible for a coin that went through circulation unnoticed. Unless it was pulled early by someone who understood its value, and that adds another layer of intrigue. Who first found this coin, and how did they recognize what they were holding? And are there more out there, buried in bank rolls, forgotten in desk drawers, or misattributed in junk bins at coin shows? And that's the magic of this hobby. Every coin has the potential to be something more, and the 1997 P dime proves that even in the most modern of mintages, surprises still await. And it's a reminder that diligence, curiosity, and a bit of luck can uncover treasures that others miss. And when you consider the $2 million valuation, not just as a price but as a reflection of the coin's uniqueness, its appeal, and its role as a symbol of numismatic unpredictability, you realize it's not just about metal or mint marks, it's about the stories we tell, the histories we preserve, and the thrill of discovery. And for the collector who has everything, this coin represents the ultimate get. A piece that almost shouldn't exist, a relic of error that became a masterpiece, and a testament to how even the smallest object, a 10-cent piece, can hold a value far beyond what meets the eye. So whether you're a veteran numismatist or a newcomer just checking your spare change, let the 1997 P dime be a beacon of what's possible, and never stop looking, because the next multimillion-dollar coin could be sitting unnoticed, just waiting to be found. And as always, keep learning, keep searching, and keep believing, because in the world of coins, anything, literally anything, is possible. And the incredible journey through modern coin treasure continues as we now turn our attention to yet another seemingly ordinary piece of change that has stunned collectors, sparked intense discussion across numismatic communities, and found itself wrapped in an aura of mystery and multimillion-dollar intrigue. The astonishing 2002 Roosevelt Dime, reported to have reached a staggering valuation of $1.5 million, yes, a 10-cent piece struck at the Denver Mint that somehow defied the precision systems of one of the world's most advanced mints to become an ultra-rare anomaly so extraordinary that it commands a price more akin to a luxury home or exotic supercar than pocket change. And once again we find ourselves asking the same electrifying question: how can a modern-clad dime, mass-produced by the hundreds of millions, become so immensely valuable? And what exactly happened during the minting of this specific 2002 D specimen to elevate it into the pantheon of numismatic legends? And as we dig into the details, theories, and evidence surrounding this rare error dime, we begin to piece together a narrative that combines incredible minting mistakes, improbable survival, and the ever-powerful forces of rarity, mystery, and high-stakes collector demand. Because the Roosevelt dime has long been a staple of American coinage, a familiar face in every pocket, glove box, and coin jar. But behind its simplicity lies a complex and tightly controlled minting process involving high-speed presses, intricate die alignments, and automated quality control designed to catch and destroy anything that strays from perfection. Yet in 2002, at the Denver Mint, something strayed, something slipped past. Something rare enough and visually dramatic enough to ignite the attention of elite error coin specialists. And that coin is believed to be a 2002 D Roosevelt dime that was struck on a blank planchet meant not for a dime, but potentially for a completely different denomination, or possibly even a test strike planchet, with early theories suggesting it could be a transitional error involving an experimental composition, a rejected prototype, or even a blank used for foreign coinage being tested at the facility that year. And this alone would make it rare, as striking a dime design on a wrong metal planchet introduces an entirely different metallic appearance and weight. one that instantly alerts skilled collectors to the presence of an anomaly. But this coin is believed to go further than that, exhibiting a number of striking errors that compound its rarity, including possible misalignment of dies, off-center strike, and what some believe to be evidence of a reverse die intended for a different year or series, raising speculation that this may, in fact, be a mule error, where mismatched dies from different coin types or issues are used together, creating a coin with a combination of features that should never exist on the same piece. And if this is true, it would mean that the 2002D dime could potentially bear not just the wrong planchet and strike anomalies but also the wrong reverse or even misdated elements, all wrapped in a pristine or near-mint state condition that suggests it was either pulled immediately by someone who recognized its value or simply never circulated due to being found in a sealed mint set. And while mule errors are among the rarest types of U.S. coin errors, the Denver Mint has had almost no public record of such mistakes involving Roosevelt Dimes, which makes this particular case all the more significant, because it would mean that a one-off mechanical or human failure at the Denver facility resulted in a dime that should not exist, and yet somehow does, and this combination of impossible error, stunning preservation, and extreme scarcity is what drives the potential valuation into the seven-figure range, as collectors and investors alike know that a coin like this isn't just rare, it's unique, it's legendary, and it's irreplaceable. And let's not forget the added mystique of private sales and off-record transactions, which often surround coins of this caliber, especially when there is uncertainty about official mint acknowledgement or limited public exposure. And while no major auction house has yet featured the 2002D dime at the center of this million-dollar legend, its whispered existence among top-tier collectors, as well as reported third-party certifications of its anomalies, have done nothing but add fuel to the fire of speculation, making every 2002D dime in existence just a little more interesting to examine, because in a sea of ordinary coins the chance, however slim, that another could be out there is enough to send thousands of enthusiasts searching, inspecting rims, weighing their dimes, and checking die alignments, all hoping to catch lightning in a bottle, and that hope is not entirely in vain. Because coin history is full of discoveries made by amateurs, casual collectors, or lucky individuals who simply took the time to look closely, to notice what others missed, and to ask questions when something seemed off. And it's that mindset, the idea that the next great discovery might be hiding in plain sight, that keeps this hobby alive, thrilling, and accessible to anyone, because treasure doesn't always come in gold bars or ancient relics. Sometimes it comes in the form of a misstruck dime from Denver, a tiny round disc of metal with a value so high it stops conversations cold and rewrites the story of what modern coins can be worth. And the 2002D dime, with its mysterious origins, unlikely production scenario, and explosive valuation, has become exactly that kind of coin, a mystery, a marvel, and a multi-million-dollar milestone in the ongoing saga of American numismatic history. And whether or not another ever appears, whether its exact details are fully known or remain forever partially shrouded in collector lore, one thing is certain: it has awakened the imagination of the entire coin collecting world and turned even the most common of dimes into an object of scrutiny, wonder, and possibility. So check your change, open those old coin rolls, and don't overlook the little things, because as the 2002D dime reminds us all, the greatest treasures can come in the smallest, most unexpected forms. And as we bring this unbelievable story to its final few turns, the 2002D Roosevelt dime continues to echo through the halls of numismatic legend, not just because of its estimated $1.5 million value, but because of what it represents: the perfect convergence of anomaly, timing, and rarity that turns an ordinary circulating coin into a once-in-a-generation marvel. And as collectors continue to speculate whether this was a test piece that slipped out by mistake, a freak occurrence during high-speed production, or an undocumented experimental strike meant for internal mint evaluation, its status as one of the most mystifying coins of the modern era is cemented. And let's not forget the emotional and historical pull of a story like this, the kind of story where an overlooked piece of change, lying unnoticed for years in a drawer, could one day be recognized as $1 million artifact, the kind of narrative that keeps collectors coming back to their albums, rolls, and coin shows with a renewed sense of purpose and hope, because the truth is, these discoveries don't always come from elite dealers or museum archives. They often come from people like you, people who simply paid attention, who trusted their instincts, who knew that something was different, and followed that feeling to uncover a coin that defied all logic. And that is what gives the 2002D dime its true value, not just the extraordinary errors or minting inconsistencies it may carry, but the dream it represents for every collector, every treasure hunter, and every curious soul out there who dares to believe that a simple coin could change everything. So, as you handle your next handful of change, look just a little closer, ask just one more question, because you never know when a miracle in metal might be resting in the palm of your hand, just like that singular 2002D Roosevelt dime that proved even a dime can be priceless.